all got in common?
We're scared, Kevin. We all scared. Scared of ourselves, scared of each other. They're just scared. Scared of losing something they've known their entire lives. Fear makes us human, Kevin. Last sign for the last show. Oh boy, you are a powerhouse. The strength you exude on stage is inspiring. Your commitment to each and every word captivated me every time I watched your work. Thank you for sharing your talent, Stephanie Elliott. Every time I come and look at that thing, think about that journey, boy. A long, long way. What actually happened was, I don't know, about a year and a half or so, I went to like a, kind of like an open house type of a thing where they had some artists come in and do auditions for things. And what I didn't know was what was happening behind the scenes with that. My audition tape was kind of being passed around to a number of people, and it got to my director, Felicia Siobhan Ellison, who then reached out to me and was asking me if I wanted to do some theater, get back into theater. And she talked to me about one particular play, but then she told me, I really have you in mind for this play called Mountaintop.
I thought it was a wonderful, wonderful rendition. It was especially important to me because the night Dr. King was killed was the night I decided to attend law school. That was a seminal moment in my life, so this was very, very impressive, very emotional filled, very impactful. That's our reality. That is our lived reality. And that is America's lived reality. And the more we deal with our lived realities, the more we can change it. He was a mentor to a lot of people. Although he didn't know it, he was my mentor.
I thought it gave a human touch, you know. He was human.
It has a great message to it. It's humorous, so it has a lot to entertain you with. You saw that Dr. King was just like us.
You know, when you think about it, there's no surprise that he would have to have a sense of humor and want to have fun and be more jovial and down to earth just to get through the tough and difficult days that he did.
And one thing about the Garden Theater, I've been to several productions here now at this point, and they have been very intentional about ensuring that through the arts and culture that is presented here at this theater, that it is representative of the entire community. And so we have just a great time whenever we're here.
This is a focus that we have around making sure that we are diverse, equitable, and inclusive. So when we bring in different topics that represent the mosaic of our community, we're bringing relevancy to our stage. When we bring talent that brings all types of backgrounds to tell different stories, we're bringing authenticity. So it's very important that we have this type of conversation.
It was a very real depiction of Dr. King, a very, very different presentation, but in no way does it diminish the work that he's done, and his legacy lives on in us and even generations to come. Even many of our Central Florida leaders being a part of it, coming and supporting it, I thought was huge. Look forward to what's to come here at the theater.
And at the time, I wasn't really familiar with it, so we had a little conversation, and then the other play kind of went on its way, and then she had me come back to call back for the Mountaintop. So by then I had kind of done a little research into it and knew who had put it together and some of the history behind it. And I was a little terrified. I was a little like, oh my God, because it's a two-person play. You know, you're up there for 90 minutes, just you and another person. And I had never done anything like that. So went to the callback, and this was one of those kinds of auditions where everybody's there and kind of taking turns so you can kind of see what's going on. So I kind of had a good feeling that I was gonna get the role, and that's what happened. Sometimes I come in here and I see my name around all these lights, and I just think about the journey from back in the days when I was still figuring it out, getting laid off from financial services companies, being on the phone, dialing hundreds of numbers, getting hung up on, getting fussed at, going on appointments and stuff, knocking door to door, getting doors slammed in my face, climbing on roofs, doing whatever I had to do, and finding my way to this, and coming all the way to this moment as an actor. It's unbelievable, man. It's funny how the universe will put you in places you never imagined, and all because just not being afraid. Come in.
Hey. Oh, I'm
Hey.
so sorry to interrupt, Essex, but I have a gift for you.
Oh, wow. Thank
Happy
you.
closing.
Hey, and thank you for this as well.
Oh, absolutely.
Thank you so much.
The roses were Joe.
Okay,
the
that's
card
Joe.
is me.
The
The
card
roses
is
are
Joe.
Joe.
Thank you so much. The Garden Theater has been amazing. I learned so much about this theater as well as the people who are here, and they're taking great care of us and made this an unbelievable experience. A lot of people who've seen the play, they went like, how hard is it to learn all this stuff, to do all this stuff, 90 minutes, no intermission, and I can't say that it was hard, it was challenging, but it was a labor of love, and these people helped make it very, very, very easy to come to work.
Phenomenal.
Phenomenal. It was awesome.
Yes. Yes.
Awesome.
Absolute
It was
pleasure
amazing.
to watch.
It was
To
great.
watch the two characters go from emotion to emotion like that was just something that was amazing. It was unbelievable.
We saw that he was a flawed man. He wasn't a perfect man. He was a flawed man, but
Yes.
he was still a great man at what he did for civil rights.
We're continuing to try to carry on the baton.
Yes. Pass the torch.
What I would say to him is thank you for the life and the legacy that he left behind. We're all standing on his shoulders. We would not be in the position that we're in today had it not been for the fight that Dr. King put in and others as well. So I'm so ever thankful here in this January of 2022.
I would say thank you, sir. Thank you for your self-sacrifice. Thank you for just paving the way. Thank you for running the baton to the end of your race, but then you also pass it on to us, and that we firmly pick up the baton and will continue your race.
Thank you for taking the baton, and hopefully this new generation will take it on to the next level.
You have to come see this. This is absolutely amazing.
Great acting. Congratulations to Essex O'Brien.
Yes. Great job, Essex. Great job.
Honestly, when she first told me about it and she talked about playing Dr. Martin Luther King, you know, that inner actor was like, ooh, you know, that
Challenge.
That challenge, you know what I mean? Yeah. And playing that particular character and for what he meant to the culture was something that really, really piqued my interest. And for me, my goals are still in TV and film, but when it comes to stage, I was really careful about the type of things that I would take in stage. Like if it's not something that's a challenge, if it's something that's different or unique, I probably wouldn't have been interested in it. But with this particular piece, this amazing piece of work written by Katori Hall, for me, I really found it as an opportunity to prove something to myself, and that I could take people on this ride and give them a range of emotions and just prove to myself that I could do it and accept the challenge and just to see what came of it. I really didn't know, how good I would have been or how well I would have been able to put that challenge out there, but I had to try.
But you said yes to it.
I had said yes, I had to try. And it wasn't an immediate yes, to be honest with you. Had a lot of concerns, because the other thing with doing plays is it's a huge commitment, time-wise. It's not something that you do, strictly for money or anything like that. It's not where you're going to be on set for a couple of days and then go home and release it. Yeah. This was something I knew I was going to have to immerse myself in completely. And so you have to take into account family. You have to take into account some of the other projects that you're not going to be able to participate in. You know how it is, the commercials, the other co-star. I think this is leading right into what we call pilot season. So I had to really think about it. I had to get signed off from the wife and signed off from the agent, but everybody was very supportive of this, and everybody was saying that this would probably be a good look for me, and it would probably kind of enhance my profile as an actor and also just be a really big feather in my cap. And then there's the historical aspect of it as well. The Garden Theater, pretty prestigious theater, but it was also one that was segregated at one point in time, and this is the second time that they've had a black director or predominantly black cast. So there was some history there to be made as well. So that all kind of made it something that I felt like I had to do.
Hi, my name is Matthew Zenon, and I am the understudy for Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. in the Mountaintop at the Garden Theater.
Hi, my name is Lauren Muller. I am understudying for Keme in the Mountaintop here at the Garden Theater. So it is the day before Martin Luther King was assassinated. It's his final moments, really just seeing him in a different light, seeing him not as the person with his tie pulled up and his jacket always on. It's what he might have been like at home. Just free, just needing a break, needing to just take a breath, just get everything. He was like Atlas. He felt like he had to have everything on his shoulders, and being able to take that off and seeing him just be like, and then allowing someone else to enter that space with him and seeing how he would be with Kame, a different person that he's never met before, and having her allow him to be himself.
It's amazing because you have Dr. King, who is lionized by the world, right? You get to see him in a light that you've never seen him before. You get a new outlook on what Black leadership is in America, right? And you get to see him in all his humanity.
I was probably around 8 or 9, and I'm probably dating myself a little bit. I remember when they came out, Stevie Wonder actually wrote a song in honor of the holiday being passed. So this was around like 80, 86 or something like that. Happy birthday to you. And that's a song that's continued to live on. People play it at their own birthdays or sing it that way, but that started with the passing of the holiday, Dr. Martin Luther King. So I was probably like in the 3rd or 4th grade.
It's intimidating because he's the king. Like if we had royalty, he would be our king, literally. So it's intimidating to be like, I'm just a maid and I'm challenging this person who is such a high figure in Black history.
Man, it's exciting, and I'll be honest with you, it was also a little terrifying.
This play really humanizes him and shows him who he really was. I think that gives people kind of an ability to relate to him. I think it kind of, the work that he was doing, while it was great, we can all do this type of work. We can bring this into all of our careers and all of our lives. And I think we get a chance to connect with, the struggles that he had that we might also have.
Because he means so much to so many people, not just Black people, but people around the world. He was just such an iconic figure, and this would be my first time playing somebody of that stature, somebody who actually existed instead of a fictional character, but somebody who existed, who made a tremendous impact on not just American society, but worldwide. Being out of the country, everybody knows who Dr. Martin Luther King was. So it's a challenge that I'm looking forward to and extremely excited about. And I'm hoping I do him justice.
Well, Camay, she's bold, she's witty, she's sassy. She is a cussing, fussing, no nonsense person, you know, but she also has soul and heart, you know. She's a beautiful character.
I love Camay. She's kind of similar to me in the way that we talk. We don't really have to feel like we have to speak one sort of way. If we want to switch back to another style of talking, that's what we're going to do when we want to talk to somebody and be more comfortable with them. So I really like that about her. And she just says what she wants to say, no matter, not to hurt anyone, but just to tell you the truth, no matter which way she has to go about it.
I grew up not too far from the Garden, so getting a chance to bring this play to the Garden means a lot to me. I think it's crazy to, you know, grow up and kind of have this view of Dr. King, and I've been an audience member here for a while now, and it's crazy to think that I would actually get a chance to perform and get a chance to perform in such a, you know, maybe the most recognizable role that there is. So it just means a lot. I know that it means a lot to people who look like me, and it means a lot to people who look like me who aren't in the audience, and more people who would never typically come see a play are gonna come to see this one.
This is my history, this is my story, this is my culture. I'm sharing it with you, and I hope that it is something that you are able to digest and take along with you in the rest of your life and the way that you view things now.
Well, at the advice of our vaunted mentor and coach, Dennis Neal, I wanted to get off book as quickly as possible because of, you know, obviously the immense challenge of learning about 42 pages of script. I wanted to get as much off book as possible before we started rehearsals, so that I would be, you know, more ready for the other challenges, the emotional weight of the film, and, you know, the blocking and things like that. So I started about 3 weeks early before rehearsal, and I really tried to knock my monologues out as quickly as possible. So I went and I recorded all my monologues. I read them right off the page and put them on my iTunes. And for like 3 weeks, well, not 3 weeks, pretty much the whole time between then and the first show, I would listen to them every single day. And I learned them like you learn a song. You know, you can hear a song and you pick up the chorus, you pick up the hook, then you start the verses, the ad-libs. Yes, but I had to keep going with it. But also, like, okay, so you read it a certain way in a certain cadence, but I had to also try not to fall in love with that particular cadence in case I need to switch something up or add something else to it. So I would say it in different ways, different rhythms, different cadences. And so I knocked out the monologues, and then from there just tried to read the play every single day and not focus on trying to learn every single line every time, but just reading it, taking it in, learning the story. You know, learning some of the cues, and then the rest I found that I could do easily in actual rehearsals where I'm feeding lines back and forth with my co-star. And so I did that, and then the rest of it was really interesting. Me and Felicia, we talked about my portrayal of Dr. King, and we didn't want to do like try to mimic him or try to make like I sounded exactly like him throughout the play, because she wanted me to bring some of my own.
Freedom and justice. I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today. I have a dream that one day down in Alabama, with his vicious racists, with his governor having his lips dripping with the world's words of interposition and nullification, one day right down in Alabama, little black boys and black girls will be able to join hands with little white boys and white girls as sisters and brothers. I have a dream today.
There was a celebration on Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday celebration for the holiday weekend. And it was at the Dr. Phillips Center, and they wanted us to come and also, you know, plug the play, but also recite one of the speeches. And this particular speech they wanted us to do was I Have a Dream speech, which is not in the play itself. So, and we only learned that we was going to do it like the night before.
Oh, no.
So I'm reading, yeah. So I'm reading. Now I'm familiar with the speech, but I don't have it memorized, and we adjusted it a little bit. But go up there, read the speech, and this is kind of like, it was like an outdoor thing. They had the big stage there, but there was a lot going on. You know, they were having people doing performances, you know, playing instruments, dancers and things like that. So I go up to do the speech, and you know how it is when you're in these type of things. You know, people are kind of all over the place, sometimes not paying attention. There's a lot going on.
Right.
But as I get into this famous speech, it just felt like everything slowed down.
I have a dream that one day every valley shall be exalted, every hill and mountain shall be made low, the rough places will be made plain, and the crooked places will be made straight, and the glory of the Lord shall be revealed as all flesh shall see it together. And if America is to be a great nation, this must become true.
And the crowd quieted down as I started to get into some of the more familiar parts of the speech. And I started to get this like chill, like goosebumps, and like this spiritual weight coming over me that I can only kind of compare to, you know, those moments when you're in church and people are kind of really getting into the spirit of things, and they're kind of expressing themselves spiritually. And I felt this sort of feeling in that process that changed something for me. And it went from me learning a play to perform to tapping into like a certain spirit. Like I felt like, and it sounds weird to say because I've never experienced this, it's kind of hard to articulate, but I felt like I tapped into something.
And so let freedom ring from the prodigious hilltops of New Hampshire. Let freedom ring from the mighty mountains of New York. Let freedom ring from the heightened Alleghenies of Pennsylvania. Let freedom ring from the snow-capped Rockies of Colorado. Let freedom ring from the curvaceous slopes of California. But not only that, let freedom ring from Stone Mountain of Georgia. Let freedom ring from Lookout Mountain of Tennessee. Let freedom ring from every hill and molehill of Mississippi. From every mountainside, let freedom ring. And when this happens, when we allow freedom to ring, we will let it ring from every village and every hamlet, from every state and every city. We will be able to speed up that day when all of God's children, black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics, will be able to join hands and sing that old Negro spiritual. Free at last, thank God Almighty, we are free at last. Thank you, Orlando. We'll see you at the Mountaintop. Give him another round of applause.
It has been a wonderful journey to be able to do such a powerful piece and get to work with such an amazing actor, Essex. I am going to miss this experience. This experience has literally changed my life. And I'm so grateful for everyone that was involved in the process of making this a very moving and inspiring piece of theater.
Martin Luther King Jr. were to see this play, how do you feel or think that he would, how would he see it? Like, how do you feel like he would appreciate the work?
You know, at first, because I was asked this question before we started, and I thought that maybe he would kind of not be happy about some of the things that we touch on. But as I've done it now, I think he would be proud, because I don't think very many people look at the human side of what he was going through. I think people, they look at the speech, they look at how he's presented and pedestalized in the way that he's taught, but they don't really think about what he's really going through. And for me as a man, that was some of the things that got me to the places that I need to be emotionally, because as a man, you're putting so much on the line. Like, I can't imagine being in that line of fire and having my family in that line of fire and still pushing on for people who disagree, people who don't care, people who think I'm going about it the wrong way. There's a line in there about him loving people who don't have the ability to love him back. Like, wow. Because he was doing this for a lot of people he didn't even know. And people who benefited from his work that he didn't even know, while putting himself and his family in danger in one of the most dangerous periods of time. You know, growing up the way I grew up, you know, they present him as this great man and that he, you know, nonviolence, as if he was, you know, happy and courageous, but no, he was scared, he was depressed, he had anxiety that I think fed that chain smoking problem that he had, and it got real. I'm even losing track of your question just thinking about it, but having said that, I think that he would be proud, because that's what I think we did the best at. It's showing the human side and showing what he went through for people to just try to carry things forward. The courage that this man had, I think, is more appreciated by people who saw this play than it was if they didn't. I think he would have just wanted to be real about it, because that's just, we're all flawed in some type of way. We all have some issues, and it's what you do in spite of those flaws that really make you who you are. Well, on the surface level, I definitely became a better actor for this experience. Just having to put myself into that process on a daily basis really kind of triggered more discipline out of me. I even changed a lot of my eating habits and sleeping habits in the process. I've done more to prepare for this than I've done for anything else, and I'm so grateful for that. So that's a right off the surface type of impact for me. I even lost like 10 pounds. That's crazy. And but the other impact is just I became a more empathetic person, which is for me is pretty cool. Because I'm not always an empathetic person, and I can be sometimes, too cynical about things. And that was one of the things that I worried about, particularly in the moments where he breaks down. Like, I didn't know if I could get there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For real. Like, not and performing and squeezing tears out of him, but for real. Finding the empathy at that moment that he's going through to tell that truthfully. The things that I did or internalized to get there made me a more empathetic person, a more caring person, and that's going to stay with me as well, because that was one of the main things that I was concerned about. And then the other impact is like the impact that I had on other people.
Right.
Like, some of the messages, some of the things that people said to me after the play, seeing tears in people's eyes. And
were you expecting that kind of reaction out of the audience?
No.
How did you want to impact them?
No, because I didn't know how I would perform it. You know what I mean? I didn't know what level I'd be able to get to every night that would impact them. I was mostly concerned with just being, telling the story, but having them feel the emotion in that manner, and even hearing it. Sometime on the stage, I'm hearing people sniffling and things like that. Like, it was amazing, and I've never been in a situation where I can impact people like that. So that impacts me because I know I can do it, and I know that people are gonna remember this for a long time. That it's humbling, and it's wow, it's hard to put in words, but yeah, I'm forever different for this experience. I'm forever going to look at roles differently, whether they're fictional or playing a person who actually existed, because I think now I can find a different level of empathy and sensitivity to them and go deeper into them than I was before for having this experience. So
it's not just a black problem. this isn't everybody's problem, whether you realize it or not. In my experiences in life, there is still a large segment of society that doesn't want to hear about equality, or they want to use equality as a tool when it benefits them and ignore it when it's blatantly in front of them, where we're clearly not at a place where we're all treated as equals.
The message I hope is taken away from this production is to keep the fight going.
I kind of pride myself on just being able to just keep going. What's next? What's next? I actually I wound up booking something while I was in the midst of the play. So I wound up shooting it the week after. And it was fine. It went off without a hitch, but I had to recognize and realize I'm tired. Like, I do need a little moment here.
Dreams of like performing.
But just like the sleep different. Like I found myself taking some longer naps. Steph was different. So, and then we wound up having to take this trip. And usually if I go out of town, I want to do stuff. I want to be active. I want to do all kinds of activities. Where's the zip line? Where's the ATVs? Where's the waterfalls and stuff like that? Man, we slept. You know what I mean? We got some rest.
You know?
Yeah, I needed to re-energize. And I talked to my co-star. Shout out to Anita. She's still sad that the play's over. Like, we both had a moment. And this actually happened last night. You saw how we typically end the play, but this time, when the lights are down, we just started hugging each other, and we hugged each other until the lights came back up. It's like, oh my, I can't believe this is over. And so it was a whole emotional thing. It was probably more emotional than physical, but the emotion manifests itself physically in being, tired and also that routine every day, like going to rehearsal every day and seeing everybody.
So you're taking
the check-ins.
To recover.
Yeah.
We'll bring him back.
Man, listen, we've gotten that question.
Oh, okay.
We've gotten that question a lot, and I just tell people, the Garden Theater, they pretty much have their calendar set out, and so it'd have to be at probably a different venue. I'd be open to it, but I don't know. I don't know if they get the same one. They have to give me some ramp up time.
You kept those audio tracks.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna keep those forever. There's a lot of stuff I'm gonna keep forever, but
good.
Yeah, I'll always keep that. But we'll see. Somebody gotta cut a check and get us a venue, and we'll see what happens. It's been an amazing experience. I always think of the journey, and I'm always gonna remember this name in lights. It's not about fame or money, but just doing this type of work. If you've seen the play, you know what I'm talking about. This type of work is so important for the community, for the struggle. Not just for black folks, but for white folks to see the humanity behind the struggle that black people have gone through. And I've been using the term magnum opus very much. This is very much what that is for me. Artistically, acting-wise, it's the greatest thing I've ever done, and it's kind of changed me a little bit. So I don't know what the future holds. I'm just gonna keep going. I didn't know what the future was when I first started to do this and reinvent myself and become an actor, but all I know is that I have proved something to myself, to a lot of people, to the community, that and this is not a knock on anything else I've done. I'm proud of the Publix, I'm proud of the Nutrisystem, I'm proud of the co-stars, but I'm a lot more than 1 or 2 lines. I'm a lot more than 15, 30-second commercials. I put the work in to become a true craftsman and a true professional as an actor. And I think over the last 3 weeks, I've proven that to myself. That was one of the reasons I wanted to take this challenge, so that the narrative about me and my career, I've taken ownership of that. Black Unicorn is a part of that as well, to show people that I can carry a story. I can move people's emotions. I can take people on a ride emotionally, spiritually, make them laugh, make them cry. And so I proved that to myself, and that's always gonna no matter what the future holds, no matter what level of success I go to from here, I always know that I proved that to myself and to others. And for that, I'm grateful. I'm grateful to Felicia. I'm grateful to my dance partner, Anita. I'm grateful to the entire Garden Theater staff, all the crew. And I thank you and I love you. And to everybody who's come out to support, thank you so much. I wish I knew bigger words, other languages to tell you how much I appreciate it. This has been an amazing trip to the mountaintop. Thank you.
We did it. We did it. Great crowd. Great crowd. We did it.